in a land where three religions converge, where ancient stones whisper stories of kings and prophets, where conflict and peace dance in delicate balance, here lies a journey unlike any other. From Jerusalem's sacred walls to Bethlehem's quiet streets, we'll witness history unfold before our eyes. This is where it all began. As we stand atop the Mount of Olives, Jerusalem unfolds before us. A city of gold and stone, where past and present coexist in remarkable harmony. This is perhaps the most contested piece of real estate on earth, yet also the most revered. Jerusalem's Old City, enclosed by 16th-century Ottoman walls, is divided into four distinct quarters: Jewish, Muslim, Christian, and Armenian. Each quarter tells its own story while contributing to the rich tapestry that makes Jerusalem extraordinary. The Western Wall, Judaism's holiest prayer site, stands as the last remnant of the Second Temple, destroyed by the Romans in 70 CE. Watch as worshippers press handwritten prayers into the cracks between ancient stones, a tradition spanning thousands of years. This wall represents both profound loss and enduring faith for the Jewish people. Just above rises the Temple Mount, known to Muslims as Haram Al-Sharif. This elevated plateau hosts the magnificent Dome of the Rock, its golden cupola gleaming against the Jerusalem sky. Built in the 7th century, it enshrines the foundation stone, from which Muslims believe the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven during his night journey. Nearby stands Al-Aqsa Mosque, Islam's third holiest site, where thousands gather for Friday prayers. Following the narrow paths of the Via Dolorosa, we trace Jesus' final footsteps through the Christian quarter. Pilgrims carry wooden crosses along this way of sorrow, stopping at 14 stations that mark events of Christ's Passion. The journey culminates at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, Christianity's most sacred shrine, believed to encompass both Golgotha, where Jesus was crucified, and the tomb where he was buried and resurrected. Beyond the Old City, modern Jerusalem tells another story. West Jerusalem, predominantly Jewish, buzzes with cafes, markets, and cultural institutions. The Mahane Yehuda market pulses with energy as vendors call out prices for fresh produce, spices, and baked goods. East Jerusalem, home to most of the city's Palestinian population, presents a different reality. Since Israel's annexation following the 1967 Six-Day War, Palestinians here live under Israeli governance, while most lack citizenship rights. Yad Vashem, Israel's Holocaust memorial, sits solemnly on Jerusalem's outskirts. Its stark architecture and haunting exhibits honor the 6 million Jews murdered during the Holocaust, contextualizing Israel's founding as a refuge for Jewish survivors of genocide. Just 6 miles south of Jerusalem lies Bethlehem, birthplace of both King David and Jesus Christ. The transition from Jerusalem to Bethlehem requires crossing through a checkpoint in the separation barrier, a jarring reminder of the political complexities governing this land. The Church of the Nativity marks the traditional birthplace of Jesus. Descending into the grotto of the Nativity, we find a silver star indicating the exact spot where Christ is believed to have been born. During Christmas, thousands gather in Manger Square as songs of peace contrast with the reality of occupation. Bethlehem today is a predominantly Palestinian city in the West Bank, under Palestinian Authority governance, but surrounded by Israeli settlements and military checkpoints. The city's economy relies heavily on tourism and traditional crafts like olive wood carving. Ancient artistry passed through generations. From these urban centers, we venture east to the Judean desert, where the land plunges dramatically toward the Dead Sea. This harsh wilderness has long attracted those seeking isolation, from prophets and rebels to modern-day spiritual seekers. Qumran, nestled in these barren hills, reveals one of archaeology's greatest discoveries. Here, Bedouin shepherds stumbled upon the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947, ancient Jewish texts hidden in caves nearly 2,000 years ago. These manuscripts offer invaluable insights into Judaism during the Second Temple period. Nearby rises Masada, King Herod's desert fortress dramatically perched atop an isolated plateau. According to the Jewish historian Josephus, this became the site of a legendary last stand during the First Jewish-Roman War. In 73 CE, 960 Jewish rebels and their families, besieged by Roman forces, chose mass suicide over capture and enslavement. For modern Israelis, Masada symbolizes determination to prevent another exile, encapsulated in the phrase, "Masada shall not fall again." The Dead Sea, Earth's lowest point at 1,412 feet below sea level, stretches before us like a sheet of glass. Its waters contain such high salt concentration that swimmers effortlessly float on the surface. Beyond being a natural wonder, these mineral-rich waters and mud have drawn health seekers for millennia. Environmental concerns cloud the Dead Sea's future, as water diversion from the Jordan River has caused the sea to shrink dramatically, with sinkholes increasingly dotting its receding shoreline. The Jordan River, though modest in size, carries immense spiritual significance. In Christian tradition, this is where John the Baptist baptized Jesus, marking the beginning of his ministry. Today, pilgrims in white robes immerse themselves in these waters at Qasr el-Yahud, continuing a tradition spanning 2 millennia. Traveling north, we reach the Sea of Galilee, Israel's largest freshwater lake. This region forms the backdrop for much of Jesus' ministry, where he delivered the Sermon on the Mount, walked on water, and performed numerous miracles. The lakeside town of Capernaum, once a simple fishing village, became Jesus' adopted hometown. Archaeological excavations reveal a synagogue where he likely taught and remains of what some believe was Peter's house. Nearby, Tabgha marks the traditional site of the feeding of the 5,000, commemorated with Byzantine mosaics depicting loaves and fishes. The Galilee's lush landscape contrasts sharply with the arid south. Here, Arab and Jewish communities live in closer proximity than elsewhere in Israel. Nazareth, Jesus' childhood home and now Israel's largest Arab city, offers both Christian pilgrimage sites and glimpses into Palestinian culture within Israel proper. From Nazareth, ancient trade routes lead west to the Mediterranean coast, where successive civilizations built ports, fortresses, and cities. Caesarea Maritima, constructed by Herod the Great, features a remarkable Roman theater still hosting performances today. Further north, the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Akko, preserves layers of history within its Crusader halls, Ottoman walls, and winding souks. The city's underground Crusader city reveals massive pillared halls where knights once gathered. Our journey would be incomplete without acknowledging the modern political dimensions that shape life here. The Israeli-Palestinian conflict, with its competing national aspirations, influences everything from daily commutes to access to natural resources. For Israelis, this land represents the fulfillment of ancient longing, a sanctuary after centuries of persecution culminating in the Holocaust. The State of Israel, established in 1948, embodies Jewish self-determination and revival of Hebrew culture in its ancestral homeland. For Palestinians, this same territory represents their historical home, with communities tracing lineage through generations. The events Israelis celebrate as independence, Palestinians commemorate as the Nakba, or catastrophe, which displaced hundreds of thousands from their homes. Today, Israel proper exists alongside the Palestinian territories of the West Bank and Gaza Strip, though borders remain disputed and movement restricted. Israeli settlements in the West Bank complicate prospects for a two-state solution. Yet, amid this conflict, countless individuals on both sides work toward peaceful coexistence. Joint Israeli-Palestinian organizations promote dialogue, shared environmental concerns, and human rights. Musicians, artists, and chefs from both communities find common ground through cultural expression. Throughout this journey, we've encountered not just holy sites, but living communities navigating complex identities. Jerusalem's Armenian quarter, preserves a Christian tradition dating to the 4th century. The Samaritans maintain distinctive traditions on Mount Gerizim. Druze villages in northern Israel practice a faith that emerged from Islam but developed into a separate religion. As we conclude our journey, we're left with more questions than answers. How can competing claims to sacred space be reconciled? Can ancient faith traditions adapt to modern realities? Is peace possible when narratives of history differ so fundamentally? What remains undeniable is the profound human connection to this landscape. Whether viewed through religious devotion, national identity, or cultural heritage, this small strip of land between river and sea continues to exert an influence on global history far beyond its modest size. We've journeyed through a land where history isn't just remembered, it's lived daily. Whether you seek spiritual connection or simply understanding, Israel and Palestine offer endless discovery. If this journey touched you, subscribe to Wanderbliss_YT for more explorations of our world's most meaningful places.